Hey, how's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. And Arsenal, they go 6 points clear as Man City has just drawn against Spurs. Hey, hey, hoo hoo. And of course, Aston Villa lost at home to Brentford, which is fantastic news for Arsenal. We are 6 points clear of Man City, 7 points clear of Aston Villa. We are 12 points clear of Man United, ironically enough, only, which seems kind of nuts looking at the season Man United is having an only 12-point gap. Let's be real, the 12 points should be between us and Man City, but hey, it is what it is, cannot complain. But we'll see how that's gonna go. But good week, good weekend per se as an Arsenal fan, because we gain points, other ones drop points, and we again increase that gap. Obviously, it's not the 7 as it used to be, it's not even more, but at this stage, not gonna lie, cannot complain, which is fantastic news. Man City don't look the same. In the first half, it looked like they could be 4-5-0 up. They weren't, and whatever Thomas Frank did at halftime, oh my goodness gracious, Man City looked lost partially, I'm not gonna lie. Aston Villa, well, it is what it is. I guess that comeback against Salzburg took all off to them during the week, so it is what it is. But Arsenal again are in extra advantageous position, and we are again, if we keep winning games, and nothing else matters at the end of the day. One game at a time, of course, 3 points per week, and we are solid. We are solid and good to go. There is still 14 game weeks to go, which is quite a lot to play for. 42 points up for grabs, so we'll see how that's gonna go. But Arsenal are again in the best position possible to lift the Premier League trophy, especially after the Leeds game, where we were much more direct, much more proactive. We looked like a better team, I'm not gonna lie. That all the talk from Mikel Arteta talking about us being more direct, more forward thinking against Leeds, it actually paid off. Now the question is how it's gonna pan out against other teams, because we must keep this going. We generally must keep this going and improve on that, because Odegaard didn't start, Havertz started. Havertz was decent but wasn't great, but again, he was better than Odegaard usually is. And Odegaard being dropped actually was good news for Arsenal, because ironically enough, when Odegaard doesn't play, we actually look much more quicker on the ball, much more threatening going forwards, and we make faster decisions in chance creation, which is quite great. Also for Gyökeres, he scored a goal, he missed one-on-one, which is still pisses me off to a degree, I'm not gonna lie, because this is not the Portuguese league where you can waste like 10 seconds until you can take a shot because defenders are so slow. Here you have to make in Premier League split decisions in half a second, basically. That's gonna determine the outcome of the situation. Maybe Gyökeres is gonna get back to that, but it is what it is. But overall, yeah, good week. And now, if we win during the week on Tuesday, of course, Arsenal are playing against Chelsea, the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Arsenal are 3-2 up after the first leg, and it's looking very good. It is definitely looking very good for Arsenal. But Chelsea definitely are a force to reckon with, no matter how you look at it, because they were 2-0 down. Obviously, it was at the bridge, so it's a bit different, but they were 2-0 down against West Ham, and they won the game 3-2 at the end. They know how to make a comeback. They're gonna push it for it at the Emirates as well. I fully expect that. The only saving grace is that against Arsenal, teams actually cannot fully open up. Let's just put it that way, because if you fully open up against Arsenal, more chances than not, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get picked apart and you're gonna get a smashing of your lifetime. Especially remember the days when Arsenal beat Chelsea at home 4-0, 5-1 and all these times, you know. So it definitely could come to that. But Rossinier, we'll see what he has in store for us on Tuesday. Arsenal, on the other hand, they have a bit of a sour news. I'm not gonna lie, they're a bit of a sour news today. Obviously, Mikel Merino wasn't with the squad yesterday. He wasn't even on the bench. He was out of the squad with the talks and information about the fact that he has a foot injury. At the first, it was talked about that it's not that serious, but David Ornstein and everyone else is now suggesting, even Graham Bailey and other news reporters are suggesting that Merino is expected to be out for considerable period of time. It's not going to be a day or 3 days. It's going to be quite more, weeks, months, who knows. And it's a broken bone in his foot, which obviously broken bones, weeks, months, it's gonna be, depending where you have broken it, it's gonna take a lifetime to recover. Obviously, David Ornstein also says that Arsenal are surveying the market for a potential loan as a short-term cover. But there are no guarantees of anything at this stage. And that is the biggest thing about Arsenal right now. Because Merino has gotten injured, arguably at the least opportunistic time for Arsenal. Because also yesterday in the game against Leeds as well, if you look at the bench, if Saka doesn't get injured, that also is under the question mark how long Saka is going to be out for, by the way. We're going to get some news tomorrow, day after tomorrow. I fully expect that. But we didn't have a number 8 or number 6 on the bench. Only reason why, for example, Norgard was on the bench was because Saka was injured, Madueke started, and they put in Norgard on the bench. He had trouble with the team at the end of the day. Merino was out the team because of a foot injury. At first they said, again, it was not serious, but now as we can see, there's suspected broken bone and it could take a while. Miles Lewis-Skelly was not with the squad, so on the bench we did not have a substitute for Rice and for Zubimendi, which is now a big problem, because if Merino is out, he was kind of Mikel Arteta's go-to guy in that 8 or 6. Now we have Norgard, obviously, but again, we are quite, well, let's just put it that way, thin in that midfield department. I had hopes that Miles Lewis-Skelly could finally return in the midfield for the longest time, because in the youth academy he was a midfielder, he was an 8/6. And with Mikel Arteta inverting from the left, going into the midfield, pushing them up like he used to do with Zinchenko, Miles Lewis-Skelly basically requalified, per se, to a left-back position. But now looking at this Merino injury, and if we don't sign a midfield replacement, we could be a bit of a trouble. We definitely could be in a bit of a trouble. Skelly might need to play midfield. Maybe Havertz is going to play in that 8. Who knows? Genuinely, who knows? But it's not looking great for Arsenal in the short and long term, depending on for how long he is out for, obviously. But for now, we'll have to wait and see, because, as I said, least opportunistic time. Merino has gotten injured literally less than 24 hours before transfer window closes in January. The winter transfer window closes literally in less than 24 hours, which now Arsenal need to decide. Either they go for someone on quick note. Andrea Berta could do it, I have no doubts. The question is how good of a quality player he can bring in on a short-term loan to basically fix this issue and maybe actually have Arsenal some extra strength for the midfield throughout the course of the season, because he can find a short-term fix. Or Arsenal are gonna do what they did last year. Again, just like ironically in January transfer window, the infamous phrase internal solutions came out. And this is what I mentioned. It could be Skelly, although unlikely. It could be Havertz in the 8, somebody else in the 8. And this is now the biggest worry, because Declan Rice in general, for me, has been overplayed. He plays almost every single game, just like Zubimendi. Merino comes on at times, but he also plays in the 10. He plays at striker. Norgard plays mostly cup games. Yes, he plays in Premier League, at times, but again, he doesn't play constantly enough and consistently enough. So time only will tell how this is gonna affect Arsenal. It's kind of wild, to be honest, if you think about it, because Merino, for me, in the midfield, it's not the best solution. He's a bit too slow, he's a bit too lumpy and clunky and everything, and he doesn't fill me with confidence when we play him in the 8 or the 6. He's more of a 6 than 8 for me, but again, it doesn't fill me with confidence, as I said. So time only will tell. But no matter how you look at it, Arsenal have options. Whether we sign someone within the next 20 odd hours or don't, we have options. And first things first, we have Skelly for the midfield, and we have obviously Norgard for the 8. For the 6. The 8 position is the biggest worry at the moment, because Merino mostly replaces Declan Rice when he comes on, when he plays. So the only solution I can see is Skelly or Havertz. Havertz also could play in the midfield. The issue with that is we have seen Kai Havertz play in the 8. We have seen it for quite a while. We've seen it when he just joined, and it didn't go well. Maybe right now it could go better, although I highly doubt that. Havertz playing in the 10 looked better than playing in the 8. So it's gonna be a real tough, I don't want to say humdingy for Mikel Arteta, but there are solutions whether we sign someone or not. Obviously, I would prefer Arsenal to sign someone on short-term loan. The issue with that is with this January market and just closing, who in their right mind would want to give up one of their midfielders? No one, especially if they don't have a replacement lined up. And even if somebody would, more chances than not, it would not be even as the quality player to play such a high and such a crucial role to a degree what Merino plays for Arsenal in the midfield, at least in Mikel Arteta's eyes. So Arsenal are in this predicament whether they sit tight or they just go for it. And I hope that Arsenal are going to make the right solution. And as I said, I have no doubts that Andrea Berta will make the right decision. Even if they find a player, they will make the right choice. But for now, Arsenal are in good hands. Obviously, it's such an annoying situation. It leaves sour taste in mouth when you are you destroy leads. Your opponents, straight up ones for the title race, drop points, but you have to deal with multiple injuries. Saka and Merino, especially with not knowing the extent of Bukayo Saka's injury. It is annoying, but we are still on the top. We have dealt with these situations before, and most 9 times out of 10, again, we have come out on top. So hopefully it will be more of the same. 14 games to go in the Premier League. In month and a half or so, we play in Champions League. On Tuesday, we have Carabao Cup. Very soon, we also have FA Cup. Obviously, not the biggest opponents in FA Cup. We have to play Chelsea. It's going to be interesting to see. We should get past Chelsea without Merino. If we go through into the finals, more chances than not, City are going to meet us there afterwards. It's going to be interesting to see. The biggest question mark is how we will manage this. Because all at the moment depends on the extent of Merino's injury and on the extent of Saka's injury. Because if they are out for a month, 2 months, it definitely is going to be a dent in Arsenal's squad. Even though we have good squad depth per se, I still believe that, for example, in midfield, we are lacking. Our best depth in the squad is the defense, ironically enough. Attack is a coin flip because you never know who you're going to get and how it's going to go. Some players are very inconsistent. The midfield, for me, arguably is a bit of a weakling because if Rice and Zubimendi both get injured, looking at the midfield of Merino and Norgard definitely doesn't fill me with confidence. Let's just put it that way, or somebody gets a red card and all goes sour. So hopefully, Arsenal make the right decision. But so far, so good. 6 points clear from City, 7 from Aston Villa. Let me know how you feel about all these situations in the comments below about Arsenal being on the top, increasing the gap, Merino's injury, Saka's injury, and all this stuff. Like the video, subscribe if you're new, and see you guys very, very soon. Peace!